So my 16-year-old son Braxton and I were driving along the other day. I don't even know how we got onto the topic of success. And he wanted to know whether or not I felt that luck factored into that. And I told him that I think a lot of people will spend their lifetime hoping for the day that somebody comes and knocks on their door and says, I have the most amazing opportunity just for you. It is going to make you rich beyond measure. You're going to have the happy kind of fulfilled life that you have always wanted. But in reality, that knock never comes. And instead, sometimes you've got to build your own door. Man, I got so much to fill you in on. By the way, my name is Blair. It's very nice to meet you. So for most of my life, I have been in the world of radio. Back in 1993, started a radio program called After Midnight, and we grew it to be on about 300 American and Canadian cities. And it was terrific. People like Luke Bryan, Garth, Reba, Brooks and Dunn, they'd all stop by for a visit. And, you know, I used to be so intimidated by them. But over the course of time, I came to realize that they are so much more like you and I are than you might imagine. I mean, they have dealt with loss. They have dealt with divorce, a comeback, perseverance, what it's like to have a really meaningful mentor in your life. Those life experiences, they're so much more like you and I are than you might even imagine. Eventually, that kind of began to color all of our interviews. That's the stuff that I like to talk about, not the music, what it was like to write a certain song, or what it was like to work with a certain producer. Wait a second. That's my dog Scooby. Sorry. So those kinds of interviews, that is my favorite thing to do. And the idea was, what if I got to do that on stage in front of a crowd? So we pitched the idea around, thought maybe it would be good for something like the Ryman, maybe even a television show. But when nobody gave us the green light and it didn't gain traction, what do? Well, if I believed in the idea as much as I said I did, the answer was pretty clear. You just build your own venue. And that is where our story really begins. So the dream of the Mule House, it's been 2 years in the making. And believe it or not, this was our original building. It's about 6,000 square feet. And we had a deal on a property across the street for a parking lot. And that's because, you know, we anticipated we're gonna have a lot of people here. When the seller of that lot backed out of the deal, we were devastated. Thought, what in the world are we gonna do? This whole thing was designed out. But you know, thank you, Garth. It was an unanswered prayer. In the end, we wound up with a building that is literally 10 times the size of this one. With over 55,000 square feet and our very own parking lot in the back, it proved to be nothing less than a godsend. But I wanted to be sensitive to the members of the community. This had been an important building for so many people here in Columbia. How would they feel about us turning a church into a secular business? For that answer, I turned to Pastor Mike Dawson. He was the senior pastor at the church when they left the building 16 years ago.
To tell you the truth, until I heard from you and you were describing what you were I had no idea that could be something. Blair, I see the potential for it. And so for this to be a country music venue with interviews like you do, which are interviews about the heart, not just tell me about your career and how much money you're making, how many records you've sold, but tell me about your interest in your family and your heart and what's going on. For that to be happening here, I feel great about it. I think it's an exciting possibility.
So with Brother Dawson's blessing, we threw the hammer down. A team of 6 architects spent most of the next year planning for this transformation. And finally, with a firm grasp of the design, we started the interior demolition just a few months ago. What started out like this will eventually turn into this. So we're in the process of turning that rendering into the real deal. This is where we stand right now. This is an exciting time for us. And I say that knowing full well of the challenges that independent venues are facing right now. That's because we have a plan. We've adjusted. As our friends Garth Brooks and Emmy Award-winning singer-songwriter Victoria Shaw would say, a dream is like a river, ever changing as it flows. And a dreamer is just the vessel that must follow where it goes. So for me personally, what I hope this series does is that it serves as a reminder to you of the awesome power of a dream married to action. I bet that deep inside of you is a dream, perhaps even one that you'd forgotten about. Somewhere along the way, someone could have told you that you weren't good enough or that it would never work. But we're gonna quieten those negative voices. We're gonna shut out the what ifs. Because from this point forward, we're gonna dig deep down inside, you, me as well, and show the world who we can be, what we know we can do deep inside. I believe in you, and I think you can do this. Over the course of the next several weeks, we really look forward to sharing with you more about this incredible building that we are turning into the Mule House, the team that has wrapped itself around this, that's going to build this dream. From dream to reality, the making of the Mule House. Join us online, get your invitation out, themulehouse.com. Till then, God bless you. My name is Blair Garner, and we'll see you next time.